Well, what is going on, everybody? Welcome. Welcome, everybody, into the Overreaction Buffalo Postgame Show, brought to you by the Market Dominator team on the Buffalo Rumblings Vidcast Network, presented by Picasso's Pizza. Picasso's, treat yourself to the most flavorful pizza on game day. Picasso's, we are Buffalo Pizza, shipping local and nationwide. Order online at picassospizza.net. It's good to have you. My chair is giving me problems, much like my football team. My name is Joe Miller. I'm the voice of the Overreaction Buffalo Postgame Show. You can find me on Twitter at Joe Miller Wired. It is so good to have every single one of you. Thank you for joining me. As we always like to say, make sure that you like and subscribe. We are Super Chat Live on this here show. So if you are not watching me on YouTube right now, do me a favor, jump over to YouTube, the Buffalo Rumblings YouTube channel. And then you can get my attention by super chatting. It'll show up on my screen as a brightly colored box with your comment or your question. But yes, please, whatever platform you're on, like and subscribe. And whether this podcast finds you around a cup of coffee, at the gym with your AirPods in, on the drive to work, or watching me live right now, let me just say one more time, welcome. It's good to have you. I'm sure that we're all feeling about the same. But before we get as we like to talk about, the madness started on this show, let's hear from our show's title sponsor, the Market Dominator, John Spaschek himself. John, take it away.
Introducing the Market Dominator.
Folks, I'm John Spaschek. That's right, the Market Dominator. And I am the proud sponsor of the Overreaction podcast, hosted by my good friend, Joe Miller. You know, his approach is absolutely outstanding. It's excellent. And that's what our approach is when we get into real estate. We help our clients win, just like our beloved team is doing week in and week out. So folks, if you want somebody representing you with the most cutting edge technology, using artificial intelligence and everything we can get our hands on to help you win, you reach out to me directly, 716-570-3298. We will answer our phone. And one more thing, go Bills.
Go Bills. That is John Spaschek, the Market Dominator. He is a good friend of mine. Do me a favor, if you're in the market to buy or sell a home, please give John a call, 716-570-3298. It's so good to have all of you piling into the chat. Brian Bowers is in the room. James is in the room. Sean Hope is in the room. Sean Hope, sorry. Drew Neighbors is in the room. Good to see you. Who's looks like a Vikings fan. Tracy Fichter is in the room. Xavier Stutz is in the room. Who else? Daniel Gowries is here. Cam Geezy's here. Pam's here. Got our first super chat from James. James, thank you so much for being a part of the show. I tell you what's going on. We've got crappy coaching decisions going on. Absolutely pathetic to not kick a field goal and take the 30-17 lead. OMFG. I don't know where and I get it. There's people all over Twitter right now going, oh, it wouldn't have mattered if they kicked the field goal. They still would have lost. Well, you don't know that, right? So there's an aspect of, yes, I understand from a possession standpoint that it would not have necessarily changed like the position of the game, but it absolutely would have changed the way the Vikings had played the game. There is a little bit of a deflation that happens when your quarterback throws a bad interception in the red zone, which Josh Allen, who spent the first several years of his career not having thrown a red zone interception, has done it quite a bit recently. That's not really what this show is about, but for me, I love it. I love the moxie. I love the arrogance. I love the flow. I love what it does to your opponent when you're winning by 2 possessions and you're like, you know what? We're going to go for it here on 4th and 1 or 4th and 2 in the red zone because we're better than you. I don't love it when you're not better than them. I don't know how to say it any other way than that. And the reality is this football game, it's an unfortunate emotion to be coming at you probably the way that I'm feeling, the way that you're feeling, because I'm frustrated. I'm not happy. The way that this show is going to be somewhat presented is not going to be super great. And the reason it's unfortunate is because there was a lot of great football in this game. There was a lot of great plays. There was back and forth. There was great suspense. There were surprises. Execution was good at times by both teams. There was mistakes by both teams. It was a good football game between 2 good football teams. And I think that's as the narratives are written this week, that's what's going to probably get lost in this conversation or these conversations that we have, is the fact that the Bills didn't go out there and lose to, the Denver Broncos, right? The Bills didn't go out there and lose to a garbage football team in some other division. They didn't even lose to the Jets, who, the Jets are, we still believe the Jets are the Jets. They've got a good defense, but, anytime you got Zach Wilson as your quarterback, it's not going to be great. But the Jets are an up and coming team. They didn't lose they lost to the Vikings. The Vikings are 7-1. The Vikings are a good football team. They've got Justin Jefferson. They've got Dalvin Cook. They've got a good defense. They've got good players. They got Patrick Peterson, who logged himself 2 Josh Allen red zone interceptions in this football game. It's just unfortunate that I think it's the way that the Bills lost. And we're going to talk about it. Josh Allen basically said in his press conference that, he feels like the Bills are blinking. Stefon Diggs said in his press conference that, there's something going on in the first half where they're playing well and they come out firing, and I'm going to use a word he didn't. There's a sense of urgency. And then in the second half, they kind of hit a lull. Blink. They're blinking. Blinking doesn't necessarily mean being nervous. Blinking can also mean taking it easy. You're up 17 points. Where I sat, and I'll be honest with you, I'm super, super thankful for the opportunity to sit in the House Capitol and Rick Borman law firm suite for this football game. Took my mom to the game. We had a great time. But even people in that suite, midway through the third quarter, where the Bills were up 17-0, were dipping out. The game was over. And you almost kind of got that feeling that the Bills did the same thing. This game is over. Peace out. And then when it was like, there's a measure of trying to turn it back on. But the Bills, it feels like, are blinking. Josh Allen said as much. He feels like there's moments where they're blinking. And upon Von Miller hearing that, he said they're not. Von Miller press conferences are the best. You sit around and you ache all day long after these football games. And I've got all these notes, and they're like, the notes I have are schizophrenic. And that's what the Bills do a lot of times is, they're not playing well early, and all my notes are like garbage notes, this team, and then like they pull it out and win, or they play amazing at the beginning like this game, and all my notes are like, Josh Allen's back, baby, 3rd and Josh, like things are awesome, the defense has fixed the problems, Gabe Davis is catching footballs, Isaiah McKenzie's executing, and then they go into the tank, and it's like, and then it's just like, but you listen to a Von Miller press conference, and Von Miller's like, man, I love Kirk Cousins. I love Dalvin Cook. I love these guys. This guy's great. Patrick Peterson came in the league with me. We were draft buddies. Like, I love those guys. The Rams were 7-1 when I got traded to the Rams, and we lost 3 straight, and everybody said we were bad. And Matthew Stafford had an elbow problem, and he's like, sound familiar? And it's like, I hate you, Von Miller, for making me feel better about all this. I'm about to swear. Sorry. Hang on a second. I got a lot of notes. They're schizophrenic. I want them to be positive. Want with all my heart to be positive. They're just not going to be positive. It's a loss. And I'm about to throw this chair I'm sitting in away because the back will not stay. This is the first time, if you have not heard this already, this is the first time in the history of Ralph Wilson Stadium, hi Mark, that the Bills lose a game after leading at halftime by 14 points. Not great, Bob. They have not had a second half touchdown since the game-winning touchdown in Kansas City. I was at that game. Not great, Bob. I was wearing this jersey. Not great, Bob. They're struggling with turnovers. And I'll be the first to admit or say, I think I tweeted it out to somebody or replied to somebody that the Devin Singletary turnover probably was not a fumble. His elbow was probably down. The problem is that they called it a fumble on the field, and there was not conclusive evidence via video to overturn it. I sat in the suite, and I was like, there's as much as that I can surmise from seeing that video that his elbow was down. You can't conclusively determine that his elbow was down before that ball came out. They've got an inability to make stops on defense, especially when it matters. We'll get to that because I know what all of you are already thinking. But Joe, they did stop him on defense. The Bills won. Is that really stopping him on defense? Bad penalties at bad times. Players, maybe trying to make highlight reel plays instead of knocking the football down. Cam Lewis, talking to you. I've been saying it for weeks, and people are beginning to chirp it back to me that they don't want to hear it anymore, that the only team that can beat the Buffalo Bills is the Buffalo Bills, and the Bills did it to themselves again in this game. But from the top, let's just start at the beginning. The Minnesota Vikings come into Orchard Park 7-1. The Buffalo Bills are 6-2, or were 6-2, I should say. The Bills are favored in this game. I think the line started at 3.5. Then when they decided or realized, when Vegas realized that Josh Allen was going to play, the line moved to, I think, 6 or 6.5. A game that, shouldn't mean as much to the Bills as maybe the Browns game would, outside of just trying to stack W's. The Bills are needing to stay in front of the Dolphins. They need to stay in front of the Chiefs, and the Chiefs, the Dolphins won today, and the Chiefs won basically just by not playing. The Chiefs are now in first place in the AFC. The Dolphins have sole possession of first place in the AFC East. The Bills are third. Now, that doesn't mean that they're out of the playoffs. The season could end today. I haven't looked at the stats, and the Bills being third in the AFC East, they could still potentially make the playoffs. I mean, there's great speculation, even by me, before the season started, that the AFC West was going to send 3 teams to the playoffs. They're clearly not going to. They might send one. Not might. They're going to send one at least, but probably only send one. The reality is the Buffalo Bills just couldn't finish this game. They couldn't close it out. I don't want to say that they folded like a chair, but there was a collapse in this football game. And it's funny because if you look at the last couple of years and what the Buffalo Bills have done, they come out hot, and this is going to be part of the story of my story of this game. And then they kind of hit the skids in the middle of the season. And then they finish the season red hot again, but they lose that first round bye. And the reality is if you're a Chiefs fan, there's a reason Chiefs fans on Twitter and Facebook and social media don't worry about the Buffalo Bills, because the Buffalo Bills, the Chiefs don't have to do anything to go out and win the number 1 seed except do whatever the Chiefs are going to do, because the Bills are going to surrender that number 1 seed to them every year. They've done it the last 2 or 3 years. All on their own. They hit the skids in the middle of the season. They end up just beating themselves. They lose a couple games in a row. Then they finally turn it back on again. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me, but that's effectively what seems to happen. But if you want storylines, this is the game for storylines. And the funny part is, this game outside of Josh Allen playing didn't deliver on many of the storylines. Stefon Diggs had a great game, didn't score. Obviously, the Bills lost. Justin Jefferson had a good game. He did score a touchdown, but he didn't really take over the game. Harrison Phillips didn't really make a huge splash. Trey didn't play. But when you look at the storylines coming in, Diggs, first game against the Vikings, Jefferson versus Diggs, the player that was traded for the pick that got Justin Jefferson. And one of the things that's not ever included in that conversation is the 7th rounder that we got from the Vikings as well was Dane Jackson. And Dane Jackson clearly has become a very serviceable player for the Buffalo Bills. Case Keenum, revenge game. Didn't get a chance to play, unfortunately for him. Harrison Phillips, revenge game. The Trey suspense. Is Tre'Davious White ever going to play? I remember, I don't want to say getting in arguments, but I remember people clapping it back at me on Twitter. People that feel like they know more than everybody else. Oh, this ACL tear is only a 6-month injury. And I was like, actually, it's 6 to 9, and it could go a year. Don't expect to see Tre'Davious White till probably next year, Thanksgiving. And people just, you know what Twitter warriors are like. Joe, you don't know what you're talking about. It's like, well, here we are. It's almost Thanksgiving. And guess who has not taken the field yet? We don't know why. There's rumors circulating out there that it's in his head, that he doesn't trust the knee yet. And I'll be honest with you, as a dude that just had knee surgery, I get that. Totally 100% get that. Jake Poyer is in the comment section right now, and he works out at STA with me, who, oh, by the way, Cam Lewis works out at STA, as does Terrell Dotson in the offseason, and they both had good games today. He knows that I've been struggling with this knee problem for the last 2 years. But it gets in your head, man, and there's a trust issue there. But the Trey suspense, clearly the Bills are dealing with more injuries. Gregory So didn't play. AJ Epinesa played, I thought, very well in his stead. And then the Josh Allen injury. When you talk about storylines, his status, Is he going to play in this football game? And the Bills played the game with Josh Allen right up to the moment that he almost walked on the field. Josh Allen did not come up for warmups until the media, I think, left, or until the inactives came out, and then he finally came out and warmed up. He went back in, came out dressed. The Bills didn't say anything. The Matt Barkley timeline completely passed. I thought for sure Matt Barkley was getting called up, just even to kind of add to that suspense as far as like, well, Barkley's called up, blah, 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 blah. Obviously, the Bills didn't want to lose that roster spot because they wanted to keep 5 running backs on the roster. Missed me with that, but we'll talk about that in a second. But at the end of the day, like literally, they didn't even call out the starting offense. They called out the defense. So even at the beginning of the game, nobody knew who was going to start this football game until the announcer said, now in a quarterback, Josh Allen. And the crowd went wild. I mean, the Bills front office played it straight as they held on to that rope as long as they could possibly hold on to it. Didn't help in this game, but they did it. Clearly, the Minnesota Vikings were ready to face Josh Allen and probably whoever else they played. But it's good to see that the Bills are trying to fix some of the problems as well that this team has seemingly had over the last several weeks. Making the switch from Jaquan Johnson to Cam Lewis. I thought Cam Lewis played well in this game. They brought in Duke Johnson to start returning kicks. He had one really good kick return. I don't get 5 running backs in a football game. Naheem Hines is a punt returner. Duke Johnson is a kick returner. Tywan Jones is a gunner. Devin Singletary is RB1. Dalvin Cook is RB2, whatever. It doesn't seem like the best use of your resources or your roster spots, especially when you're holding on to Jordan Poyer, who's been out now for 3 weeks. Is that right? Short-term IR is 4. I don't know. Call me crazy. Tre'Davious White, not playing. They got guys on this roster that literally can't suit up. Can't get on the field. And we're putting 5 running backs out there. And because of that, you lose a guy like Isaiah Hodgins. Now, I'm not salty. However, I am doing a new series of podcasts on the Overreaction Sports podcast that is my own RSS, my own podcast feed. And I think I'm going to start on Wednesday doing a part of the program called the Hodgins Watch, where we're just going to check in and see how Isaiah Hodgins is doing week to week. And he had an okay game in a Giants win today for a guy that's brand new to a football team. Good for him. But the Buffalo Bills come in struggling, they come into this game struggling on defense and a bit on offense. And in my opinion, outside of the first half, they continued to struggle a little bit in both areas in the second half. The run game seemed to do well. I was watching back the highlights when I got home, and the run game, Devin Singletary looked great in the first half. The run defense looked great in the first half. Josh was hitting open receivers in the first half. Josh, again, I said it earlier, third and long, which we typically or traditionally have been calling third and Josh. Josh was hitting those deep third down passes and making first downs. They looked good. They looked really, really good in the first half. They looked like the Buffalo Bills of old. The Buffalo Bills of a couple weeks ago. Pre-second half Green Bay game. And then it all just kind of came back, right? In the second half. And what's interesting about this game, even as we set it up as a game that maybe the Bills don't have to win, you get a sense of urgency, which we felt from this team early in this game, even from the staff, and that they started Josh Allen. And maybe all of the concern over his elbow was a little bit overhyped by the media, by us, the fans, by those of us that are in content creation, being freaked out that he might not be able to play for a couple weeks. I remember I said on one of my shows, there's the potential for him being out for the year. Is that worth one game? Do you go into it precautionarily, or do you just throw caution to the wind and play him? Well, the Bills decided to play him, and good. I'm glad they did. He looked good. But this game, no doubt, is going to bring out, and I fear it's going to bring out the worst in the Mafia, and I don't really see what's going on in the comment section right now. I'm hoping you guys are getting along, but there's blaming going on, right, amongst Bills Mafia. It's the defense's fault. It's the coaching. It's not either of their faults. It's Josh Allen's fault. It's this person's fault. It's this fault. It's that fault. It's everybody's fault. or it's somebody's fault and none of us are going to agree. I've got people like blocking me on Twitter, which I thought was funny. Somebody commented at me and I went to respond and they had blocked me. So they commented and then it was weird. But let the infighting begin, I guess. People crawl out of the woodwork to tell you you're wrong on Twitter when the Bills lose a football game. I got people in my Twitter feed right now that have like 4 followers, haven't tweeted in 4 months, and they're tweeting at me to tell me that I'm wrong about one of my takes during the like in the middle of the game, in the heat of the game when I had an emotion and I just tweeted something out. It's just funny, dude. 5 followers, 0 tweets, or whatever in like the last 4 or 5 months. It's like they've been waiting for this moment. I'm just going to keep my Twitter handle open, and when the Bills suck for 2.5 games in a row, then I'm going to rage tweet at people. I knew this team sucked. It's like, what is going on? Oh, I apologize to all the listeners. Everybody listening, whether you're watching me live now or in podcast form, this is, I don't know where this show's going. Oh my gosh. But like I said, people want to blame the defense, and the defense allowed 33 points to the Vikings. And frankly, outside of that one drive that, as I said earlier, ended on the Bills 1, they couldn't stop them when it mattered. The Vikings did kind of what they wanted to do in the second half. As I look at the second half of this football game, Vikings interception first possession of the second half, then punt. It's great. We're looking good, right? Touchdown, turnover on downs, end of half. Well, they got the touchdown off the fumble football by Josh Allen, and then a field goal. There were so many big drives. The one in the downs, turnover on downs, is the one that they immediately in the next play, Josh fumbled the snap. Touchdown, effectively a touchdown, field goal. You just can't. I mean, when you're coming down to the wire in a game like this, you've got your defense has to step up. And it's funny because in my notes I've got big player step up was one of the notes I had. Big player step up in big moments. On that last drive that they got that touchdown off the Josh Allen fumble, there was a couple big sacks after the Bills had not gotten to Kirk Cousins all game. There was a couple big sacks, including one by Von Miller. And then like immediately on third down, Kirk Cousins hit Justin Jefferson way down the field. And none of it mattered. You've got to make stops. And the Bills defense just couldn't when it mattered in this football game. So there's people that want to blame the defense. There's people that want to blame coaching, and I can get on board with that. The coaching seemed to be strange at times. And then there's people that want to blame Josh. He's leading the league right now with 10 interceptions. He's making bad decisions at bad moments in the game. There's times when he seems confused, and there's times when he seems rattled, including this game. He's not playing. I want to back up. So, and then there's moments that he takes over, right? So there was the sequence, I believe it was in overtime, where it was basically Josh Allen time. Josh just decides, I'm going to start running the football. And we love those moments where he takes the game over. So there's moments where he's showing flashes of being the most valuable player in the NFL. And then there's a whole group of moments where it's like, yeah, bro, this isn't great. And dejected Josh is getting a little bit old. And every loss, seemingly his dejection is a little bit stronger. This one, his post-game press conference was 4 minutes long. He sat there literally head slumped, barely looked up, short answers. And I think there's a culture around this team right now where they want to realize what they are, realize who they are, accept the mistakes that they make, correct them and move on versus kind of wallow in the mire. It'll be interesting to see where this week takes us. It'll be interesting to see if Steph and Vaughn and some of these guys begin to pick Josh up. Look, bro, pat him on the helmet. You're still our quarterback. Von Miller said it. We still got the best quarterback in the league. I believe it. Do you believe it? I think Bills Mafia believes it. People want to blame Josh, and I'm not here necessarily to blame anybody. This was a total team loss. There's times when the defense needed to pick Josh up. There's times when Josh needed to pick the defense up, and there's times when the coaching staff needed to help both, and they didn't. It was good to see the Bills come out early in this game and have a sense of urgency that we did not see against the Jets, especially early. Players were flying around on defense, making plays. The Bills' offense was in up-tempo often. It was great. The ball was coming out on time for Josh. It was coming out in rhythm. Yes, there's some plays where he's kind of designed and scheduled to roll out to his right or his left to allow plays to develop, but by and large, the ball was coming out in rhythm. It was coming out in time. It was great. Early on, you had to think that the Bills, had solved the defensive issues, especially up the middle, as Dalvin Cook was getting swallowed up everywhere all over the field. And as I said, there was kind of the return of the 3rd and Josh, which was great because I thought it was gone forever. Not that he couldn't do it. More of a sense of the fact that they just weren't going to call those plays. It was offense by design is now look to your right and throw the ball to the flat. Don't try to chuck it 14 yards downfield. But at the end of the day, that all of that I'm talking about, all this suspense, all of this like buildup, all of these things that we're chatting about, the good, the bad, the ugly, the ebbs and flows, the ups and downs, that's why we watch the game. That's why we watch football. In this football game, there was three different moments where I was like, this is a great day. We've won this game. This game is over. At least 3 times. And then I walk out of the stadium pissed off to high heaven. Over losing a game that I felt like was in the bag 3 or 4 times. This football game is already being heralded by all kinds of media outlets as the game of the year already. And to me, it was just a ridiculous football game. It was just maybe when I watch it back, it won't be tomorrow when I watch it back. I'm going to watch it back tomorrow, but when I watch it back a 3rd time or a 2nd or 3rd time by Wednesday, maybe I'll be like, man, this was a really good football game. But right now, I'm just not happy. This football game had no business being this close on the scoreboard. As you guys know, the Bills were up 17 points in the 3rd quarter. I already talked about it. The Vikings are driving, and it's like, can this defense close this game out? Nope. As I said, sacks came when we feel like we really needed them. And just as they came, Kirk Cousins would hit a big pass. And there's moments that you begin to realize that like the mistakes are beginning to pile up. It had that Miami Dolphins game feel where there was just like, oh, another mistake that's not great. Oh, another. And they're not huge mistakes, just, oh, another mistake. And that fumbled snap on the goal line, I don't know what was going on there. I mean, literally I know the ball was on the 6-inch line, but the game plan was to literally, the play call was to just quarterback sneak it forward because that's what looked like they were trying to do. And it's a fluke. It's crazy fluky that Josh Allen drops that football. Like he's never dropped that football. I think maybe he did with Kyle Van Roten, right? Backup center. He's never dropped that ball with Mitch Morse. But why not hand the ball off? Why not drop back and throw a ball 3 yards down the field? You just set yourself up for. When that play happened, I turned around to Brian Belser behind me, who is one of the dudes that works for House Capital. I was like, what was the spread in this game? 3.5? Because it was about to be cut to 3. I was like, what is going on? Or the Bills were about to go up by 3 if they'd kicked a field goal. And you got to wonder, as much as like when you talk about infighting in Bills Mafia and you talk about people going back and forth and having opinions, how important is Tremaine Edmunds to this defense? Because all of the stats and all of the conversation that I gave you about the Bills defense in the second half, all of the bad happened when Tremaine went out. His loss in that, I like Terrell Dotson. I think Terrell is a great player. He's a lot of fun to watch on the football field. This defense misses Matt Milano when he's not in the lineup. This defense misses Tremaine Edmunds when he's not in the lineup. Tremaine Edmunds is very, very, very important. But just to kind of wrap up the game itself, I was confident even going into overtime. Josh, as I said, was having MVP moments even after the defense allowed him to go straight on the field. Was it a 6.5 minute drive to kick a field goal? Josh was having MVP moments in their drive. I thought for sure that he was going to go straight on the field and kick and score a touchdown. The game would be over. Right up to the very end, I was confident. It just wasn't meant to be in this football game. I need to find my beer trail read. Give me Western New York beer trail. Oh, I think right. That's Y, not WNY. WNY. So let's talk about our other show sponsor real quick, and then we'll get into the story of this football game. I got to find my graphic. 2 seconds. Boom, there it is. The brand new 2023 Trail Pass from Western New York Beer Trail is now available. It's this bad boy right here. This is the actual one, 2023. And I told you guys last week that it's like bigger. Oh, they're the same size. I was wrong. The 2023 pass is bigger and better than ever. And I think it's bigger, meaning there's more stuff in here. And there's no better time to get ready for next year than right here, right now. The new pass features 53 area breweries, cideries, meaderies, and beers all over Western New York, while almost every stop still offers the second or 2 half-price beers. With your pass, there are several other offers available from select locations, such as discounts on flights, food, and merchandise. You can save over $400 with all the offers inside of this book, like a T-Bass field goal you can't miss, and T-Bass did not miss today. The 2023 Trail Pass and other Beer Trail items are available at our website, www.WNYBeerTrail.com. Just click on the shop tab, and now through November 15th, use the code TheVoice15. So that ends in 2 days. So this is the 13th. It ends on the 15th, which is Tuesday. The Voice 15 to save on your 15% on your entire order. This is the perfect way to start your holiday shopping early and even get yourself a little something. We at the Western New York Beer Trail are proud to support everything local, craft beer, small businesses, and local charities, including this year's show. Watch for our other meetups and fundraising events along the way. Western New York Beer Trail, drink local, support local. We'll see you on the trail. Do me a favor, jump over to westernnewyorkbeertrail.com and grab the Beer Trail. You will not regret it. There's a lot of great stuff inside of it, and I think I kind of flipped through it. Whoopsies, I'm dropping the book all over the place. I flipped through it last week. It's actually got a map in here of all the places you can go. So like this thing is legit. So if you are a beer connoisseur, which most people are, if you're into craft beers and bougie beers and just different things like that, you want to get this thing. So jump over to WNYBeerTrail.com, get yourself the Beer Trail Pass. It comes with stickers too. Apparently they just fell out of my book. How about that? Dum 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 dum. Hey. Sorry guys, I'm in another world right now. Stats real quick for this football game. The Vikings, Kirk Cousins was 30 of 50 for 357 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Dalvin Cook 14 for 119 and a touchdown. Obviously 81 of those 119 yards came on 1 play. Kirk Cousins was 6 of 12. He had that one great QB scramble there towards the end of the game. Alexander Madison, 3 of 11. Justin Jefferson, 10 for 193 yards and a touchdown. Wow. Adam Thielen, who was almost invisible. He was invisible for the first half of this game. They get his first pass that he dropped in the third quarter, and then they found him late, 5 of 49. TJ Hawkinson, 7 of 45, the tight end that came from the Lions, and then KJ Osborne, 4 of 35, Dalvin Cook, 3 of 27, Alexander Madison, 1 of 8. Sacks in the football game for the Vikings. Danielle Hunter had 1. So Darius Smith had 1, and the 2 interceptions were by Patrick Peterson, as we already talked about. The Buffalo Bills in this game, Josh Allen was 29 of 43 for 330 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Josh Allen led the team in rushing again, 6 for 84. A lot of those came in overtime. Devin Singletary, 13 for 47. A lot of his yards came in the first half. James Cook was 5 of 22, averaged 4.4 yards. I'm ready to see more James Cook. Isaiah McKenzie was 1 for 18. He had the big jet sweep after the big catch that he had in the third quarter, I believe. Maybe it was second quarter. Duke Johnson, 2 for 4. Stefon Diggs, 12 for 128 yards. Stefon Diggs had himself a pretty big day. Gabe Davis, 6 for 93, also had a big day. Dawson Knox, 4 for 57. Isaiah McKenzie, 4 for 37. Naheem Hines, 1 for 9, had a great energy, or great run after his catch. Khalil Shakir, 1 for 6. And then Devin Singletary had 1 pass thrown his way. Or did he catch it? Yeah, he had 1 catch, just no yards on it. Sacks for the Buffalo Bills. AJ Epinesa, who I thought I said, or I think I said already, had I thought he played really well in Greg Rousseau's absence, had a sack. Carlos Boogie Basham with a sack. Shaq Lawson with a half that he split with, I believe, Von Miller. No, they gave Von Miller the whole sack, so he split that sack with Ed Oliver, it looks like. But and then the interceptions came from Christian Benford and Dane Jackson, which was fantastic. So when you're looking at the total game stats, I'll just give these to you really, really quick. Vikings 481 total yards, Bills at 46. It was very, very evenly matched. 334 passing, Bills 311. Rushing yards 147 to the Buffalo Bills 175. And again, 81 of those rushing yards for the Vikings came on one play, which really, really turned the tide in this football game. Yards per play, Vikings 6.1, Bills 6.8. First downs 24-29. The Bills led that one. Third down efficiency 7-17 for the Vikings, 7-13 for the Bills. Fourth down 3-5 for the Vikings, 0 for 1. That's where Josh Allen threw that interception. Total play 79 and 72 for the Bills. Sacks allowed 4 and 2. Punts 3 and 3. Penalties 7 for 64 for the Vikings, 7 for 64. They didn't match them. Identical, 7 for 64 for the Bills. Bills had 2 fumbles lost, one by Devin Singletary and one by Josh Allen. And then both teams had 2 interceptions. And then this doesn't make sense. Overtime. Time of possession, 35 minutes for the Vikings, 33 minutes for the Bills. So yeah, let's do something here. I've got the Dude Awards coming at you. I've not done the Dude Awards in a couple of weeks. Again, you are listening to the Overreaction Postgame Show, and I'm going to jump into the reading of the tweets momentarily. But first, as you guys know, normally I do the Dude Awards, and effectively people have their arrow up, arrow down, stand up, sit down, and I think is what Sal does, and just different things like that. For me, I do the Dude Awards, and what that amounts to is if a guy played good, it's a dude. You played really well, dude. Great job. And if a guy did not play good, it's dude. We got to talk. I need to see him office, bro. Like, dude, it wasn't good. So my first Dude Award goes to my good Dude Award goes to Damar Hamlin. Damar Hamlin, I thought, has been putting together a series of good games, kind of in the absence of Jordan Poyer. I don't want to go as far as to say that I feel like he could admirably fill in for Jordan if Jordan is not on this football team next year, but he gives me hope. Damar is always around the ball. He's a sure tackler, and the game doesn't seem too big for him. And this game, again, Damar made some splash plays. He clearly went at Dalvin Cook when he needed to. I thought Damar Hamlin played a very good football game. Matt Milano, second Dude Award. Matt Milano played very well. His presence was needed, and it was welcomed. It was good to have him back. He snuck the gap a couple times on the outside and made tackles for losses. You know, Matt Milano is a freaking machine, and sometimes you got to this defense looks different without him, and it looks different with him, and I'm glad he's 58 is on this football team. My third Dude Award goes to previously mentioned AJ Epinesa, a couple blocked passes. He was just around the ball a lot in this football game. He really played well. Dude Award, Dude Award. The first one's going to go to Josh Allen. Josh, I need you. I love you. I love you, Josh. I love you, Josh Allen. I love you, Josh Allen. I just need you to be better. I don't want to say much more than that. Everything I need you to be is there, wrapped up inside that 6'6", 240-pound body. I love every ounce of you. I'm going to enjoy every moment of watching you play, the good, the bad, the indifferent. I don't ever want to see another quarterback take a snap behind this offensive line or any Buffalo Bills offensive line. As long as 17 is back there, we have a chance. You are the heart and soul of this football team. And I just need you to see that guy coming across the middle. Last several games in a row, you've missed the guy coming across the middle, working back towards the football. So clearly there's a notice out for defenses that when Josh Allen is running or flanking to his right, to begin to work back across the middle because the ball's going to come. And Josh has gotten caught a couple times, including in this football game. So please, Josh, do me a favor. Please just do a little bit better on that. The defense, my next Dude Award goes to the defense. The defense makes one stop that's not on the Buffalo Bills 1 yard line in the second half. The Bills win this game. You can blame Josh Allen all you want. You can blame interceptions all you want, but we talk about it on the show a lot. Quarterbacks throw interceptions, running backs fumble the football, wide receivers drop passes. Quarterbacks are going to throw interceptions. The defense is paid the way that it is. We brought in Von Miller. That defensive line is crazily paid. Crazily is crazily a word. I know there's injuries, but that defense has got to make a stop. My second Down Dude Award is literally the defense. They've got to come up big one of those times. And then the last one is Ken Dorsey. I don't know what's going on in the second half. The play calling just seems People can disagree with me on this point if you want. I would encourage you to. Like, go ahead, feel free to disagree with me on Ken Dorsey. But when Stefon Diggs is talking about the play calling in his press conference, and he's not calling out Ken Dorsey, he's just talking about the calls that are the plays that are called. And he says, we've got to find a way just to go out and execute and make something happen on the plays that are called. To me, that says that the plays that are being called might not be the plays that they want or the plays that they feel are good moments or whatever, however you want to fill that narrative. I need Ken Dorsey to be better in the second half. I need Ken Dorsey right now to be better, period. And I don't know how to say it other than that. So those are my dude awards. Good, DeMar Hamlin, Matt Milano, AJ Epinesa. Down dude awards, Josh Allen, the whole defense, and then Ken Dorsey. Got another super chat for you before I read the tweets. Peyton Plays says, JA17 is on pace for like 20 red zone turnovers. Dude, bro. I think I'm just gonna let Carmen do it. For everybody, his name's Carmen, by the way. Peyton is Carmen. I'm gonna let Carmen do the show one day. Because Peyton is just dialed in. That was perfect. Pace for 20 interceptions. Dude, bro. We gotta talk. It's so hysterical. Sorry, everybody. I'm just laughing. So with that, I sent out a tweet on the Overreaction Buff at Overreaction Buff Twitter handle. And I've got to expand my window a little bit here. And effectively, I said the Bills lose a game today. Lose a game they had in hand in overtime. How you feeling, Bills Mafia? Reading your tweets live at 8 p.m. on the Overreaction Postgame Show. Buckle up, Bills Mafia, because there's a lot of these. So, yeah. There's you guys are all up in your feels after this football game, both good and bad. C-Dubs at Chriswell73. Decisions. A few bad decisions by the coaching staff and those two red zone picks thrown by Josh Allen to force the play are the difference makers in this game. But Jefferson is incredible and fun to watch. That is true, bro. Chris, that's absolutely true. Round 2 against them in the Super Bowl. Hashtag Go Bills. This could very well be a preview, a Super Bowl preview for this year. It could be the Bills and the Vikings. And one of these teams, I would love that. Just for one of these teams, two teams that are devoid of a Super Bowl championship that have both gone 4 times, it would be amazing. Storybook for one of them, the Bills, to come away with a Super Bowl championship, and then one of them, the Vikings, to lose their 5th. That would be amazing. Jeff Hartman at Go Bills 1958. Knock the ball down. Kick the field goal. Can't run the ball when they need to. Questionable play calling in the second half. Need Poyer and Trey White back. Bro, I agree with you. Greasy at Cam Greasy. Heartbreaker, but add Poyer, White, Elam, and Edmunds to this defense. Do we get the same result? I'm okay with sacrificing a few games for guys to get fully healthy because our season starts in January. Hopefully that takes some stress off QB1 too, and he plays less hero ball. Appreciate the comment, Greasy. DJ Bernadal Chavez at DJ Chavez. Josh Allen needs to figure it out. This game rests on his shoulders. Can't blame the elbow either. Those were 2 awful interceptions. In the red zone, no less bad decisions. There's not a whole lot I can say to respond to that because you're 100% right. Bill S. at Crazy Bill, CRZY Bill. Why can we run it in the first and not the second? What do opponents have or what have the opponents figured out? This loss is like a Dyson vacuum. It sucks, is what he's saying. I agree. Anthony at Cattle Dog Dad, Buffalo Sports, and he's got a GIF here that says, "Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk to you again." I could sing the whole song for you, but I won't. He added, in this darkness, I will say, let's go Bills and Sabres. Pour yourself another whiskey. I'll be working on my Wild Turkey. Rare breed. It's my annual November bourbon whiskey. We will get through this, Buffalo fans. I'm just going to say real quick, because I've been asked recently, as much as I drink bourbon on this show or whiskey on this show every Sunday, I don't really drink beer in the summertime. There's something about, for me, beer in the summertime that just doesn't really, I don't know, it doesn't do it for me. On a nice hot day, a beer is great. I do like a beer with a steak, but for all intents and purposes, when it comes to wintertime, cold weather, I need something that's a little bit different. So yeah, and right now I'm drinking Bullet. So yeah, in case anybody's wondering, I know I get asked that question all the time too. Like, what do I like and what do I drink? Tonight, drinking Bullet. Nicole Nicosia at Nick Media 246. We had momentum in the second half. Should have kicked an easy field goal on 4th and 2, added the score, keep our progress going. The ensuing interception was a killer. Poor decision, morale-breaking decision. I agree with you. Somebody actually retweeted that, so they agreed to. Johnny O at JD777428669. Losing faith in Josh and maybe McDermott is not the one to get them over the hump. Johnny, I'd ask you to pump the brakes a little bit. Oh, and no way in hell OBJ is coming to this disaster of a team. Disaster. The wheels have come off for Johnny, rather. If anybody's wondering, the wheels have completely come off for Johnny O. So this team is trash. He's lost faith in Josh. McDermott is not the coach. OBJ is not coming here, and it's over. Like, it's completely over for Johnny O. Just somebody, if you're near, if there's a family member listening or that knows Johnny O, please give Johnny a call, because one of his loved ones might need to check on Johnny right now. That's just a public service announcement. Karen hashtag Let's Go Bills at Go Sabres Bills. She says, I just words. Nope. Welp. Exhales. Cry face. At least we're only 6-3, even though it feels like we should be 3-6. Going for a long walk right now. Hopefully she's back and watching the show. Tim Ashenfelter at Tim940325220. What's it say? Knock the ball down, Lewis. She's talking to Cam Lewis. Game over. Bills were bad in situational football. My Calico Cat's coming back. Joe Marino would be so happy right now. The Bills were bad in situational football all game. Coaches Allen and the defense tired of the repetitive theme. You know what, bro? I can't say that I necessarily disagree with you on that one. Autumn, my friend, good friend Autumn at Autumn RE_sports. Good to see you, Autumn. Disappointed, tired, and drained. The same mistakes. The offense in the first half was candy. The okay sign, and in the second half, it was the opposite for the third week in a row. I hope they truly figure out what's up and not just say every week after every loss that they'll learn from this. It is getting a little bit, Oh, at Fuzzy and the Rust Belts, my guy, Joey Thurston from Fuzzy and the Rust Belts. If the Buffalo Bills don't get mad when I screw up a song, why should I get mad when they blow a football game? The only difference is they get paid millions and we don't. Fuzzy and the Rust Belts bringing the comedy to the show. Paul Moon at P Mooner 44. I'm disappointed for sure. They need to get their act together. I really think they get too much into their own heads. They need to get back to playing and having fun. That's when they play great. I agree. Bills Media 716 on to Cleveland, and he's got the gif where the little kid's laying over the wall and somebody just pats him on the back. I think that's Cleveland. I'm not sure. Natalie at Natalie 074-50264. Sad and in denial, also kind of mad at the ref for not calling that hold on Knox right there. James Alexander Perks at MRJ Perks 6789, all the way from the UK. I'm absolutely broken. I went through every emotion possible. The one that stuck is anger from being 27-10, 27-10 going into the fourth quarter and to losing by 3 in overtime is unacceptable. There were too many errors from all over and there were too many errors from all over to single on to see to basically point out or to basically focus on is what he's trying to say. But ultimately the buck stops with QB1, and that's where people are going to be. People are going to blame this on Josh. I don't know that I can. I think it's a full team loss. I don't know that I can just put the blame on Josh Allen. At the end of the day, like I said, you can say that Josh Allen, if he doesn't make that first interception or the second one, they win. But the reality is if if the defense makes a stop on one of those scoring drives in the second half, the Bills win. Period. End of story. Pamela at Pamadonna, my girl, confused. In the big picture, I think they played great and they should have won this one, where last week we sucked the whole game and deserved to lose. We lost because of bad coaching decisions and horrible mistakes from Josh in the red zone. D injury is obviously an issue. She's not wrong, y'all. Sal Fresco at El Pinche Sal. How are you feeling? He says, go F yourself. How's that? Oh my gosh, that's hysterical. Xavier Stutz at XCS713. I'm sick of here it is. I'm sick of the only team that can beat us is the Bills, or the only team that can beat the Bills is the Bills. So Xavier, you're mad at me. Narrative. The injuries have gotten to us and we've dropped to a middle of the pack team, still have Super Bowl aspirations, but damn, we need to clean it up and get healthy. You're not wrong. I agree. Norm Herm at Norm_Herm. Coaching staff effed us. Man, a lot of vulgarity tonight. Bills Mafia. Rated R Bills Mafia in this show. Again, JP Bills 6-3. at _JIPP. Like trash, but this was the life of a long like trash, but this is the life of a lifelong Bills fan. Oh, he feels like trash. Gotcha. He feels like trash, but this is inevitably the life of a lifelong Bills fan. Got it. Took me a minute. British Bulldog, another UK fan at British Bill, BILLDAWG. I don't know what's happened in the locker room since the bye week, but this team needs to shake it off fast. The team that showed up, excuse me, the past few weeks is not a championship team. They're barely a playoff team. They can get it right, and I really, really hope they do. I agree. Richard Rush, my guy, at Richard R. Rush. He feels sick. Ben at _official Swami. Does Cam Lewis not know how to bat it down? Defensive back 101. Highlight reels, bro. Follows it up with another tweet. Says we're one-dimensional. What's the point of the Hines acquisition? I like Nyheim Hines. I don't know that they know what to do with him yet. Clearly, I hope they didn't make that trade just to have a punt returner. And clearly, I hope they don't keep Duke Johnson up just to be a kick returner. And clearly, I hope they don't, keep Taiwan Jones just to be a gunner. It's just, I'm not sure they know what's going on there. Yos Schmengi at Bills GMDY, which I believe is Bills game day. You're up 17 with 2 minutes to go in the third, and you can't run the ball. So it's Josh running around making plays, but your margin for errors is very thin despite the lead. You can't rush the passer. Our guys are out. The opponent takes full advantage. Their guys are out. You don't even notice. He's not wrong. John Fina at John Fina. Ugh. That's how John Fina feels. Just simply ugh. Jed Smith at Design Smiths. Ken Dorsey can't run 3 pass plays in a row on short to-go plays while sitting with a comfortable lead. Run the ball and run the clock. And that's a big part of the Ken Dorsey argument that I had. The Vikings played right into the Bills' hands. Like in the fourth quarter, they had a 6.5 or 7 minute drive that kind of drained the clock. The Bills should have had no problem winning this football game, except for the fact that we kept throwing the football, stopping the clock on incomplete passes. Dirty Harry 58 at Dirty Harry 5827. I cheered through 4 Super Bowl losses and the drought and say every year, this is our year. Still have confidence in this team. Go Bills. I do too, bud. Buffalo Bills 439 at Bills 439. Here ball strikes again. Adla Bills at ADLALI Bills. I'm feeling like we really need to open the conversation about this coaching staff. McDermott, Frazier, and Dorsey are all failing on so many levels. Situational football, terrible. Refusing to change, terrible. Yes, Allen was bad, but where's the responsibility on the coaches? It's a question that's got to be asked. For some reason, John Fina is asking me if I've uploaded the show yet. John, we're recording it right now. Hope you're watching. Bills Pro at Bills Pro _. I'm glad they had that game before the playoffs, I should say. We will need to make a play in that situation to beat Kansas City. That's absolutely true. JR333 at Golf Guy JR. They are in trouble, plain and simple. It goes much deeper than injuries. Ronnie at Ronnie Eastham, frustrated, confused, and would like some fans to remove any references of the Buffalo Bills from their Twitter account, as they are an embarrassment to Bills Mafia. I'm trying to scroll back to a super chat that I got. I found it. So I'm going to hit that in a second, James. Just give me a moment. Nicole at NM Bernard Payne, she says. Mrs. KCB at Ophelia FL. Payne, I'm physically exhausted. I don't think to take the safety, but I'm not paid to be there. She was saying, so where the Bills fumbled that ball, why not just take the safety and kick the ball back to him? Also would have been a better strategy than to try to quarterback sneak it. It is what it is. Payton, my guy Payton, who's actually in the show right now, 44 seconds ago, he tweeted, it looks like, I've seen this team suck before, but they were the suckiest bunch of sucks to ever suck. Man, did they suck. Red Dog at Thornberry Wild. Something is obviously wrong. Obviously. RK Fast at RK Fast 2. I would like a direct answer as to why the Bills all-pro cornerback was inactive. If you cannot play, okay, but put him on IR and explain why. Can't necessarily disagree. Joseph Goho at Joe Goho. Something is more wrong with Josh's head than with his right arm. An excusable end zone fumble and end of game interception at Nate Geary Sports. Not sure what is happening with him. What does he say? Someone in Bills content land needs to take off the rose-colored glasses on McDermott. Joe Miller Wired was highly critical of 13 seconds, and head coach remains a huge issue to getting over the hump with this roster. That said, the entire secondary were backups today, and it showed. Well, thank you for the shout-out. I do my best to keep people honest. Rob Lewis at Rob_Lewis79. It's a second half issue. We had the game won, and then we let them back in. Failure to play 60 minutes. That's absolutely true. That was actually my story of the game, which I didn't even get to. Football happens, long season, going to continue to be healthy and peak at the right time. That was Dean Henson at Dino Henson. How many are left? Good Lord, people. Just a couple. Where was that one at? Dino Henson. Dino. Oh, there we go. Got like 3 left. J Brow 80 at J Brew 8. That's funny. J Brow 80 is his name. At J Brew 80 38 is his handle. First half offense was great. Need to continue to use the players available like Shakir, Imac, Knox, Davis, etc. Stop playing hero ball. And he's got the emoji that's swearing. Evan at Water Friction. It's one game. I'm not worried about the division. And the division opponents can have their moment to think they're hot shit, he says. This is one of 3 games I was okay with losing. 13-4, 14-3, still realistic. But damn, that one kind of hurt. Agreed. Wilhelm Steintz, Jay Whistler. Season's not over. A lot of games left, but any talk of home field or expecting a division title is misplaced. Reset the expectations. This is a wild card team and currently not as good as Miami. Chuck at B-Bills17B. How about showing up in the second half? Bunch of turd emojis. Tubby T. At Tubby T, message to McDermott and Dorsey. That Moneyball crap ain't going to play here. And then the last, oh no, it says show more replies. Jim at Jimmy A073. He says he feels like death. And then there is one more. Eric Gahn says at Mick Higgs. He says the GIF, I just feel awful. Those are your tweets, ladies and gentlemen. James with a final super chat. Appreciate you being a part of the show. I'm pissed at Coach McDermott. Don't call him McDummy. Coach McDermott. In the past game, he put it all on turnovers. Didn't say, yeah, I should have kicked the chip shot field goal. I don't know that he's laying blame anywhere. I mean, it's a game. Mistakes are going to happen. Things go bad. It just is what it is. It's unfortunate, but I don't even know what to tell y'all anymore at this point. So, ladies and gentlemen, those of you that are still up in this room here this late in the evening, we're a couple minutes early. We're doing good. We're doing really good. I got through a billion tweets. I got 2 minutes left in the show. There's the better part of 300 people watching me live right now. We got Jets fans in the room. That's weird. I'm going to kill a couple minutes here. Eric Quoke says long way to go, but Bills now have to play Kansas City again, or in Kansas City again. Amanda's in the room. She says Scott's in here somewhere. He says hi. Hi, Scott. Good to see you, buddy. Jets fans are in. Like, I wonder how many of these people are Jets fans. Larry James. Sauce owns the division. Okay. If you say so. Apparently, we're getting trolled. Peyton Plays says it's nice when the trade works for both teams. This is just overtime now, ladies and gentlemen, in case you're wondering what's going on. Oh, there's some Viking fans in the room. Nice. Welcome to all the Viking fans. Welcome to all the Jets fans. Welcome to all the fans of other teams who are trolling the Buffalo Bills right now. The season's not over yet. Don't get too high on yourself. Don't get too high on yourself, Toten. Who says skull? Let's read this one. Inchan GM. I don't even know what that means. Josh Allen is a beast and continues to be a beast. Y'all are having some off games, but I have full confidence in the Bills can pull it out. It's a good football team. I'd love to know who you're a fan of. Appreciate the comment there. They're going to wrap this thing up. I don't know. This might be going south. Oh, there's Scott. What's up, Scott? Scott says hello. So I don't read the comments very often, but I had a couple extra minutes and I'm killing time. But now we are officially overtime. Amanda says I have a lot of fans tonight. Just tonight? They won't be my fans tomorrow? That's sad. It is what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been tuned into the Overreaction Buffalo Post-Game Show, brought to you by the Market Dominator team on the Buffalo Rumblings Vidcast Network. My name is Joe Miller. You can find me on Twitter at Joe Miller Wired. It is so good to have every single one of you. I appreciate you all. I love you all. I promise you, this is me promising you, Bills Mafia, good things are coming for this football team. What do we know? I've already talked about it. What do we know about this football team? This football team starts out hot. They catch a lull in the middle of the season, and then they get hot again at the end. That's going to happen. So then it's just a matter of getting into the tournament And once they get into the tournament, everybody, it's a 1-game round for each for each round. It's 1 game. And I believe that they are still the best team in the AFC. I still believe they're the best team in football. They just got to knock out the nonsense, for lack of a better term. So, or lack of a better phrase. So do yourself a favor, go into Monday, go into Tuesday, go into Wednesday, feeling good about yourself, feeling good about this football team. We got the Browns coming in. It's a get-right game. Yes, they're going to have to do some work to stop Nick Chubb, but for all intents and purposes, that's a game they can win to get back on the right side of winning. And from there, let's just string 8 wins together. Season's halfway over. The NFL 2022 NFL season is halfway over. Let's start stringing some wins together. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. For the Market Dominator, for the Western New York Beer Trail, and Tom, who was actually at the game today. Didn't get to catch up with him. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Tomorrow, 8 o'clock, the Off Tackle with John Fina show. Then after that, Buffalo Late Night with Thomas DeLoss, sorry. Tuesday, Code of Conduct. Wednesday, Hump Day Hotline. Thursday, Buffalo Nerd and 3-Man Rush. By the way, for those of you that are college fans, 3-Man Rush is a new college program that's on Thursdays with Jerry Ostrowski and Colt and Sarah. And then Friday's Food for Thought. So talk to you guys soon. Love you guys. Joe Miller Wired on Twitter. Come find me. Come follow me. Come interact with me. Love you guys. Take it easy. Go Bills.